Good morning, students. In our previous class, we have started with lesson number 10 of history, that is 18th century political formation, in which we have understood clearly that how the boundaries of Mughal Empire was reshaped, means because of the emergence, because of the coming of the number of independent kingdoms. Many new kingdoms arose, and that is why whatever the boundary of Mughal Empire was there, means a great change in the external boundary of the Mughal Empire came, and we can clearly see in these two map one, here the dotted lines show that how means enlarged the Mughal Empire was, and in map two we will see clearly that the territories which were under the British control, means when the Britishers came, slowly they started seizing or capturing the territories of India which were under the British rule previously. Then further we have seen in this that in the starting, in the beginning of the middle century, then Mughal Empire reached its heights and the success. Means all the Mughal rulers gained success in enlarging, in expanding their empire. But slowly towards the closing years, means towards the end of the 17th century, we see that Mughal Empire had to face, the Mughal rulers have to face many means crisis or many difficulties to um, make their empire firm again, or to get the power, means to remain in the power. Many difficulties arose in front of Mughal rulers, and means after the death of Aurangzeb, even the means the successors of Aurangzeb were not able to uh, stay there, means to keep their power back as it was in the early years of the Mughal rule. And means as Aurangzeb had depleted, why this was there, because financially Mughal Empire was means weak, becoming weak, because Aurangzeb was always indulge in military and military expeditions and all, and thus the financial resources were used in the fighting, and the long war which was fought in Deccan was the main cause of the depleting financial resources means उनकी धीरे धीरे उनके पास जो जमा पूंजी थी, जो वेल्थ थी, जो मनी था, वो धीरे धीरे कम होता जा रहा था। और फिर एक ऐसा समय आया जब औरंगज़ेब के जो सक्सेसर्स थे, औरंगज़ेब के बाद जो रूलर्स आए, उनके पास इतना कुछ वेल्थ नहीं रहा जिससे वो अपना राज्य पावरफुल रख सकें। And it was difficult for the later Mughal emperors to keep a check on powerful Mansabdars. Now, first of all, due to the military expeditions, the financial resources become less, and the second main important reason for the uh, decline of the Mughal rule was the powerful Mansabdars at that time. The Mansabdars were gaining more and more powerful, more than the Mughal emperors, and the nobles themselves appointed the governors and had the control over the revenue and military administration। revenue और military जो administration था, वो nobles ने अपने हाथ में ले लिया था, और इसी वजह से उनका overall control on the Mughal political, economic and military पे पूरा कंट्रोल नोबल्स का आ गया था, एंड दैट मेड द मुगल रूलर्स वीक। And next, another cause was the peasants and zamindari rebellion because of the high taxes. The Mughals nobles were asking for the high taxes, and that created a big means opposition uh, regarding the Mughal rulers by the peasants and zamindars. But then slowly we have also seen that the political and economic authority was shifted from the hands of the Mughal rulers to the uh, local governors, local chieftains, and other groups. And now Mughal rulers were not so much powerful. They do not remain so much powerful as they were earlier. Then, in these economic crises, political disturbances, the ruler of Iran took a chance and he came to Delhi to plunder. उसको लूटपाट के लिए यहाँ पर आया और he took immense wealth. जो यहाँ की जमा पूंजी थी, जो बची कुची जो यहाँ पर मनी था, वो भी वो लूट करके ले गया. एंड दिस इन्वेजन वाज फॉलोड बाय सीरीज ऑफ प्लंडरिंग रेड्स. और उसके बाद एक बहुत सारे इस तरीके से अटैक किए गए एक लूटने के इस एम से. और उसमें से अफ़गान रूलर अहमद शाह अब्दाली भी उन्होंने भी नॉर्थ इंडिया को 5 बार फ्रॉम 1748 टू 1761 he made an attack. Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali made an attack on in northern India 5 times and he plundered means उन्होंने यहाँ पर आकर के यहाँ की सारी वेल्थ और लूटपाट किया. Next, we have also read about that the um, Mughal rule or Mughal Empire further ruled because of the division of the nobles. Now, the nobles were themselves divided into two groups called as Iranis and Turanis, and the Mughal rulers now and were the a type of puppets in the hands of these nobles. और ईरानीज और तुरानीज ये दो डिवीजन में हो गए थे ये नोबल्स ओवरऑल. ये इनकी इतना पावरफुल गेन कर लिया था इन्होंने कि ये मुगल एम्परर को जैसा कहते थे, मुगल रूलर्स को जैसा कहते थे, वैसा ही उनको मुगल रूलर्स को करना पड़ता था. इस तरीके से नोबल्स became more powerful than the Mughal rulers and they became the puppets, a type of puppet in the hand of nobles. Then we have all further seen that in emergence of new states, states were divided into three categories or three groups. In first group, the state, those states which were Mughals' old provinces, in which Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad was included, and they were extremely very powerful and quite independent. Means Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. They were considered as old Mughal provinces. Then second group considered of those states which were made independent by the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. Watan Jagirs के वे में इनको बोला जाता था, ये स्टेट्स को इस ग्रुप में रखा जाता था जिनको मुगल रूलर से इंडिपेंडेंस मिला था. Now third group was those states, the group included of those states who uh, means who seized the independence. उन्होंने एक तरीके से लड़ाई लड़ करके, आर्म्ड स्ट्रगल लड़ करके अपना इंडिपेंडेंस लिया था. फाइट कर कर मुगल रूलर से फाइट करके अपने आप को स्वतंत्र किया था मुगल रूल से. So these were the three types of means the whole empire was divided into three types of division in among the states. Then we have read about further about Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad that they had the independent rule of the members who founded that is Sadat Khan founded Awadh, Murshid Quli Khan founded Bengal, and Asaf Jah in Hyderabad. These all three were means they all were the Mughal nobility. They were the members of high Mughal nobility and they have been the governors of these provinces. In provinces को governors बना means in provinces में अवध, बंगाल और हैदराबाद में इनको मुगल nobility ने ही इनको governors बना दिया था. Then today we are going to start with Hyderabad, that is Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan, the founder of Hyderabad state. Now, who was the founder of Hyderabad state? Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan. Full name is Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan. And he ruled from 1724 to 1748, and he was the most powerful member of the court of Mughal emperor. Or this Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan was very powerful emperor in the court of Farooq Shiar. Farooq Shiar was the Mughal ruler और इस मुगल रूलर फारूक शियार के अंडर में निज़ाम उल मुल्क असफ जहां ये एक तरीके से पावरफुल मेंबर था इनके कोर्ट का. ही वाज एंट्रस्टेड फर्स्ट विद द गवर्नरशिप ऑफ अवध. इनको पहले गवर्नरशिप ऑफ अवध दिया गया. अवध की गवर्नरशिप दी गई मुगल रूलर के द्वारा. and later given the charge of Deccan, and afterwards he was given the charge of Deccan. As the Mughal governor, the Deccan provinces during 1720 to 22, Asaf Jah had already gained control over its political and financial administration. और एज अ मुगल गवर्नर, जैसे ही वो मुगल गवर्नर बना दिए गए, तो उन्होंने डेक्कन प्रोविंसेस पे पहले ही अपना पावर गेन कर लिया था, उसकी पॉलिटिकल एंड फाइनेंशियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पे। मीन्स इन द डेक्कन प्रोविंसेस already Asaf Jah had made the control on the political and financial administration when he was made the Mughal governor of Deccan provinces, taking subsequent advantage of the turmoil in Deccan and the competition among the court nobility. He gathered power in his hands and became the actual ruler of region. And then slowly, when he saw that so much disturbances is going on in the Deccan provinces, and there was much competition among the nobles themselves to gain the authority in that such condition. Asaf Jah, Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah gathered the power, and he had he himself became the actual ruler of the region. वो एक power अपना gain कर लिया उन्होंने, strength increase करी, and he became the actual ruler of now. Previously, he was made the Mughal governor only of the Deccan provinces. पहले उसको Deccan provinces का मुगल गवर्नर बना दिया गया, but जब उन्होंने ये सब चीज़ें देखी कि नोबल themselves are divided and they are among the competition that who will gain the power, authority and all, and in that condition the uh, political administration and means was also little bit disturbance financially and economically also. The Mughal was facing many disturbances in such a condition. Now Nizamul Mulk gathered his power, and he himself became ruler of this Deccan provinces. Now he was no more Mughal governor, but he became the ruler himself. Now Asaf Jah brought skilled soldiers and administrators from northern India who welcomed the new opportunities in the south. Now Asaf Jah, as soon as he became the actual ruler of the Deccan provinces, he brought skilled soldiers, efficient soldiers, and administrators from the northern India, and they means these soldiers, skilled soldiers, and administrators, they uh, means willingly came for the new opportunities in the south. वो नॉर्थ से सोल्जर्स, अच्छे सोल्जर्स और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स लेकर आए असफ जहां साउथ की तरफ, एंड ही अपॉइंटेड मनसबदार्स एंड ग्रांटेड जागीर्स, और फिर उन्होंने ही डेक्कन में अपॉइंटमेंट दिया मनसबदार्स का, मनसबदार्स का अपॉइंटमेंट किया, एंड gave them jagirs, और उनको जागीर्स दी. ना what were the jagirs? It is already made clear in the previous lessons that it was land granted by the ruler to the nobles and all. In this way, he himself appointed Mansabdars and granted them Jagirs. Although he was still a servant of Mughal emperor, he ruled quite independently without seeking any direction from Delhi or facing any interference. Though still he was the servant of Mughal emperor, मीन्स उस वक्त मुगल एम्पर फारूक शाह थे, वो उनके अंडर में सर्वेंट था एक तरीके से निजाम उल मुल्क, बट फिर भी he was ruling independently without any interference from Delhi. दिल्ली थ्रोन पे से रूलर की कोई भी जो मुगल एम्पर की कोई भी उसमें इंटरफेरेंस नहीं थी. He was ruling independently. Asaf Jahan was ruling independently. Though he was the servant of Mughal emperor. The Mughal emperor merely confirmed the decision already taken by Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jahan. Now the Mughal emperor had taken uh, the decision already. He had taken the decision that without seeking any direction from Delhi or facing the Mughal emperor merely confirmed the decision already taken by Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah. Means whatever decisions Mughal emperor, sorry, Asaf Jah used to take regarding the Deccan provinces and all. the Mughal emperor confirmed, has given his confirmation to those decisions, means वो खुद भी agreed थे जो कुछ decision निजामुल मुल्क असफ जहाँ लेते थे. The state of Hyderabad was constantly engaged in struggle against the Marathas to the west and with independent Telugu warriors chief, that is Nayaks of Plateau. Now the state under this Asaf Jahan was, means continuously engaged with the struggle against, a struggle against whom? Against the Maratha in the west and independent Telugu chiefs. Now, these independent Telugu chiefs, warrior chiefs, were called as Nayakas. You can underline this. The independent Telugu chiefs were called as Nayakas, and these means they were continuously with struggle with this Hyderabad, state of Hyderabad. The ambitions of Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jahan to control the rich textile producing areas of Coromandel coast in the east was checked by British, who were becoming increasingly powerful in that region. Now the main aim or main ambitions of Nizam ul Mulk was to have the control over rich textile producing areas of Coromandel coast in the east. Now Nizam ul Mulk wanted to have the control over this Coromandel coast, which was in the east, to have means total control over the rich textile producing area. But there he was not able to, because at that time only Britishers were increasing in their power. At that time, Britishers came here and they were expanding their power, they were increasing their power, and they were seizing the provinces and territories of the weak rulers at that time. And so here Nizam al Mulk was not able to get the control over this Coromandel coast in the east, which he wanted to. Now the Nizam army, a description of Nizam of Hyderabad's personal troopers in 1790. Now this is the description given by Nizam ul Mulk Hyderabad's personal troopers. Now who was the personal, who were in the personal troops of Nizam? It is the description given by that. The Nizam has Sawari means Sawari, means a ride of 400 elephants, several thousands of horsemen near his person, who receive upward 100 rupees nominal pay and are extremely well mounted and richly comparison. So this was the condition that at that time of the means troops under Nizam, that they were having 400 elephants and several thousands horsemen near his person, who received upward 100 rupees nominal pay, means एक तरीके से nominal pay so थी 100 rupees. At that time it was very much high, and this was the condition in Nizam's army. So till here we have read about Hyderabad, the first means the old province which was under the Mughal rule, and where Nizamul Mulk was uh, put as a governor first, and then he had control over and became the ruler of that region himself. Now, second about Awadh, Burhanul Mulk Shahadat Khan was appointed Subedar of Awadh. Now, who was appointed Subedar of Awadh? It is Burhan ul Mulk Shahadat Khan, and he was appointed Subedar in Awadh in 1722 and founded a state which was one of the most important to emerge out of breakup of Mughal Empire. And he founded a state which was most important, and it was breakup of the Mughal Empire. Awadh was a prosperous region at that time. Awadh was very prosperous region, controlling a rich alluvial Ganga plain and the main trade route between North India and Bengal. So this was the political means geographical condition uh, of Awadh. That Awadh was the prosperous region. Why? Because at that time it was prosperous region because it had the control over a rich alluvial Ganga plain, and it had made the trade route between North India and Bengal, and that is why it was a prosperous region. Burhan Mulk, because ये rich alluvial Ganga plain, ये agricultural this was fertile plain था, एग्रीकल्चरल एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए बहुत इनका मीन्स हेल्पफुल रहता। और जो ये ट्रेड रूट्स थे बिटवीन नॉर्थ इंडिया एंड बंगाल, ये भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रूट्स थे फॉर द ट्रेड बिटवीन द अमंग द मीन्स इन द अदर empires or other countries. So in this related to these two important things, Awadh was said to be very prosperous region. Burhan ul Mulk also held a combined offices of Subedari, Diwani and Faujdari. So combined offices was there of Subedari, Diwani. Subedari uh, means administration, Diwani means revenue, and Faujdari means military. इनकी combined offices थी, and in other words, he was responsible for managing political, financial, and military affairs of the province of Awadh. So, in one way, when he is having the authority, or he had the power of in the combined offices of Subedari, Diwani and Faujdari. That means that he was responsible for managing the financial, political and military affairs whatever happened in the Awadh. Now this is figure 3, which is showing Burhan ul Mulk Shahadat Khan. This is the portrait of Burhan ul Mulk. Now, Burhan ul Mulk tried to decrease Mughal influence in the Awadh region by reducing the number of office holders, that is, Jagirdars, appointed by the Mughals. Now, first and foremost thing Burhan ul Mulk did was he decreased the Mughal influence. He decreased the Mughal influence, in which, first of all, how he decreased the Mughal influence in the Awadh by reducing the number of office holders appointed as जागीरदार्स by the Mughals, and he also reduced the size of जागीर. सबसे पहले उन्होंने जो जागीरदार्स है उनका नंबर कम कर दिया, और जो साइज ऑफ जागीर मीन जो जागीर जो लैंड उनको दी जाती थी उनका भी साइज उसने कम कर दिया, so that when the size will be less, when jagirdars, the nobles will be less, the office holders will be less, then automatically their influence will be less on the ruler, and appointed his own loyal servants to vacant position. और जो भी खाली उनके लिए spaces हुई, जगह हुई, वहां पर उन्होंने बुरहान उल मुल्क ने अपने खुद के लॉयल सर्वेंट्स अपॉइंट कर दिए. तो फर्स्ट थिंग ही डिड वाज टू रिड्यूस द नंबर ऑफ ऑफिस होल्डर्स. ऑफिस होल्डर जो मेन ऑफिसेज में लोग बैठते थे, जागीरदार जिनको मुगल्स ने अपॉइंट किया था, उनको उसने हटा दिया, और उनकी जागीर्स भी साइज भी कम कर दी. एंड देन इन प्लेस ऑफ दैट ही अपॉइंटेड हिज ओन लॉयल सर्वेंट्स. उनकी जगह पे उसने अपने खुद के वफादार जो लोग थे वो उन पोजीशंस पे अपॉइंट कर दिए. The account of Jagirdars was checked to prevent cheating, and revenues of all districts were reassessed by official appointed by the Nawab's court. Now, all the accounts of Jagirdars, they were checked, so that he made a means a thorough checking of all the accounts of revenues and all, and were reassisted. एक बार वापस से उनको देखा गया accounts, revenue accounts and all को, so that not nobody is doing cheating in his court, to see that no cheating is being done in his reign. He seized the number of Rajput zamindars and agriculturally fertile land of the Afghans of Rohilkhand. अब उन्होंने राजपूत के जो जमींदारी थी और जो फर्टाइल लैंड्स थी अफगान की रोहिलखंड में, वो सब अपने अंडर में ले ली. किसने ले ली? बुरहान उल मुल्क शहादत खान ने. Then the state depended on local bankers and Mahajans for loans. Now the state started depending on the local bankers, जो वहाँ के local money lenders थे, जिनको महाजन्स कहा जाता था, उस पे डिपेंड हो गए वो लोन लेने के लिए. It sold the right to collect tax to the highest bidders. और वो राइट दे दिया गया उनको कि किसी भी तरह उनको हाईएस्ट टैक्स लेने का अधिकार है. He sold the right to collect tax to the highest bidders. Means जो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टैक्स कलेक्ट कर सकता है उनको ये टैक्स कलेक्शन का राइट दे दिया. These revenue farmers, that is, इजारादार्स एग्री टू पे द स्टेट अ फिक्स सम ऑफ अमाउंट। और जो ये रेवेन्यू फार्मर्स थे जिनको इजारादारास कहते थे, उन्होंने एक फिक्स अमाउंट मनी का वो स्टेट को देने के लिए रेडी हो गए। अब मतलब किसी भी तरह वो फिक्स अमाउंट तो स्टेट के अकाउंट में डालेंगे ही डालेंगे, कितना भी रेवेन्यू आए। और इन्होंने जो राइट था वो महाजन्स को दे दिया था पहले से ही, जो कि हाईएस्ट रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट करता था, उन्हीं को वो ये राइट देते थे कि ठीक है आप लोग रेवेन्यू मीन्स टैक्स कलेक्ट करने के लिए अधिकार है। Local bankers guaranteed the payment of this contracted amount to the state. In turn, the revenue farmers were given considerable freedom in the assessment and collection of the taxes. Or the local bankers guaranteed the payment of the contracted amount of the state. Means local bankers ने जो थे उन्होंने एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट स्टेट को देने का लिए रेडी हो गए थे और उसके जगह पर द रेवेन्यू फार्मर्स वर गिवन कंसिडर और उसके मीन्स अपोज़ में रेवेन्यू जो फार्मर्स थे, जो फार्मर्स रेवेन्यू देते थे, वो उनको फ्रीडम दे दी गई थी इन द असेसमेंट एंड कलेक्शन ऑफ द टैक्सेस, जो कि वो लैंड असेस्ट कर सकते थे, लैंड को वो देख सकते थे और मीन्स साइज़ एंड ऑल एंड रेवेन्यू उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही कलेक्ट कर सकते थे। ये उनको फ्रीडम थी कि वो अपने आप खुद के अकॉर्डिंग रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट कर सकते थे एंड टू असेस द लैंड, वो लैंड वापस देख करके उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो अपना टैक्स कलेक्ट कर सकते थे। और जो लोकल बैंकर्स थे वो क्या करेंगे, वो एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट स्टेट को पे करेंगे। These developments allowed new social groups like moneylenders and bankers. Now new social groups emerge. अब पहले ये नहीं था, मनी लेंडर्स और बैंकर्स का ग्रुप नहीं था, बट अब जैसे ही ये नया रूल लागू हुआ कि लोकल बैंकर्स को राइट दे दिया गया कि हाईएस्ट रेवेन्यू जो कलेक्ट करेगा उसको ये राइट होगा कि वो कलेक्ट कर सकता है टैक्स। तो इस टाइप से ये मनी लेंडर्स और बैंकर्स का एक नया ग्रुप स्टेट में आ गया। टू इन्फ्लुएंस द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ स्टेट्स रेवेन्यू सिस्टम। और ये मनी लेंडर्स और बैंकर्स का नया ग्रुप क्यों आया? ताकि प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट हो सके रेवेन्यू सिस्टम का स्टेट में, अवध स्टेट में प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट हो सके रेवेन्यू सिस्टम का, कि जिसका वर्क है रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन का वो रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन करे, जिसका वर्क है लोन देने का वो लोन दे, और पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट तो किसी भी तरह मीन्स स्टेट के अकाउंट में जाएगा ही जाएगा। समथिंग व्हिच हैड नॉट अकर्ड इन द पास्ट। और ये चीज़ इस तरह का मैनेजमेंट रेवेन्यू सिस्टम का आज तक कभी नहीं हुआ था मुगल एम्पायर में। Now the third province is Bengal. That is, Bengal gradually broke away from Mughal control under Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed as Naib Deputy of Governor of the province. Now this Bengal, it gradually broke away. उसको अलग कर दिया गया मुगल रूल से। किसके अंडर में? मुर्शिद कुली खां के अंडर में बंगाल को अलग कर दिया गया। इसके और ये मुर्शद कुली खां को अपॉइंटमेंट दिया गया नायब के रूप में। नायब मीन्स डिप्टी टू गवर्नर ऑफ द प्रोविंस। नाउ ही वाज अपॉइंटेड, मुर्शद कुली खां वाज अपॉइंटेड एज नायब डिप्टी टू द गवर्नर ऑफ द प्रोविंस। इस प्रोविंस का गवर्नर बना दिया गया। देन मुर्शद ऑल्दो नेवर अ फॉर्मल सूबेदार, एक तरीके से फॉर्मल सूबेदार नहीं थे। मुर्शद कुली खां वेरी क्विकली सीज्ड ऑल द पावर वेंट विद दैट ऑफिस, बट स्लोली मीन्स नॉट स्लोली बट वेरी क्विकली एज सून एज ही वाज अपॉइंटेड एज नायम डिप्टी गवर्नर ऑफ द प्रोविंस ऑफ बंगाल, ही सीज द पावर, उसने पावर सारा पावर अपने कंट्रोल में ले लिया एंड पावर अंडर द कंट्रोल एंड वेंट विद दैट ऑफिस, और उस ऑफिस में मतलब पूरा पावर अपने अंडर में ले लिया, जो कुछ उसमें ऑफिस में हो रहा था वो सब उसके कंट्रोल में था। Like the rulers of Hyderabad and Awadh, he also commanded the revenue administration of the state. in an effort to reduce Mughal influence. और अवध के जैसे ही हैदराबाद और अवध में जैसे अपना सारा कुछ पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक और मिलिट्री एंड फाइनेंशियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अपने हाथ में लिया लिया था, सेम वैसे ही मुर्शद कुली खान ने भी बंगाल का जो भी रेवेन्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन था और जो कुछ था वो अपने कमांड में ले लिया था, अपने अंडर में ले लिया था। In an effort to reduce Mughal influence in Bengal, he transferred all Mughal Jagirdars to Odisha and ordered a major reassessment of revenues of Bengal. अब उन्होंने मुगल इन्फ्लुएंस थोड़ा सा लेस रहे, कम से कम रहे, इसलिए उन्होंने मुगल जागीरदार जो मुगल रूलर्स के द्वारा जो जागीरदार अपॉइंट किए गए थे, उनका उनको उड़ीसा जाने के लिए बोल दिया गया और ऑर्डर दिया गया कि रीअसेसमेंट वापस से एक बार रेवेन्यू ऑफ बंगाल जितना भी रेवेन्यू आ रहा है बंगाल का उसको एक बार वापस से रिकंसिडर किया जाए, एक बार वापस से देखा जाए। Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. Now this revenue was collected with great strictness means बहुत strictness के साथ ये revenue collect किया गया था from all the zamindar जितने भी जमींदार से थे उनसे ये revenue collection किया गया था। As the result, many zamindars had to borrow money from the bankers and moneylenders. As these zamindars had to pay a large amount of money as a revenue collection, so they had to borrow the money. उनको मनी बोरो करना पड़ा, उधार लेना पड़ता था बैंक से और मनी लेंडर्स से, so that they can pay the revenue to the state. Those unable to pay were forced to sell their lands to the larger जमींदार और जो पे नहीं कर पाते थे ये रेवेन्यू स्टेट को उनको फोर्स किया जाता था कि वो अपनी लैंड अपनी ज़मीन बड़े ज़मींदार को सेल कर दें जो कि रेवेन्यू पे कर सकते हैं। Then the formation of regional state in 18th century Bengal therefore led to considerable change among the zamindars. Now the formation of regional state in the 18th century Bengal mm, therefore led to considerable change amongst the zamindars. अब बहुत तरीके के चेंजेस किए गए जमींदार में बिकॉज जो छोटे जमींदार थे जो नहीं पे कर पा रहे थे उन्होंने अपने जो लैंड है वो लार्जर जमींदार को बड़े वाले जमींदार को दे दी गई थी और इस तरीके से बहुत कुछ चेंजेस लाए गए बंगाल में। द क्लोज कनेक्शन बिटवीन द स्टेट एंड बैंकर्स noticeable in Hyderabad and Awadh as well was evident in Bengal under the rule of Ali Wardi Khan। और ये जो चेंजेस लाए गए हैं और बंगाल जो क्लोज कनेक्शन था स्टेट और बैंकर्स के बीच में, स्टेट मींस जमींदार बैंक से लोन मनी लेंडर से लोन लेकर स्टेट को पे करते थे और जो ये चेंजेस था ये बहुत क्लियरली विजिबल था जैसा कि हैदराबाद और अवध में होता था। And this was clearly seen under the rule of Ali Wardi Khan। जब अली वर्दी खान रूलर बने इस बंगाल का तब ये स्टेट और बैंक्स का क्लोज कनेक्शन क्लियरली विजिबल हुआ। During his reign, the banking house of Jagat Sen became extremely prosperous। और इस समय इनकी अली वर्दी खान की रेन में इनकी रेन मीन्स इनके रूल टाइम पीरियड क्या था 1740 टू 1756। इनके रूल में जो बैंकिंग हाउस ऑफ जगत सेठ का जो वो बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉस्परस दिखा गया मीन्स जगत सेठ एक तरीके से बहुत ज़्यादा वेल्दी बन गए। इट वाज अ बैंकिंग हाउस ऑफ जगत सेठ। If we take a bird's eye view, we can detect three common features among these states। अब ये तीनों states के बारे में हमने ये देख लिया। What was the condition of Hyderabad under Nizamul Mulk? What all changes they made? How he made control over political, economic, financial, and military administration. Then second, we have seen about Awadh, how Buran ul Mulk Shadat Khan had a control over all these political and how he had made the management of state revenue system, how he reassisted the management of state revenue system. Then in Bengal also we have seen about the Murshid Quli Khan, and further we have seen the changes which was brought in Ali Vardi Khan. Uh, then after studying about all these three provinces, now common features among these states is first through though many of the larger states were established by erstwhile Mughal nobles, they were highly suspicious of some of the administrative system that they had inherited in the particular the Jagirdari system. Now, first and foremost common feature among these three states was that these states, uh, though they were larger states, they were established by the Mughal nobles, but they were somewhere administrative systems they had inherited. उनको ये कहाँ से मिला था? ये एक तरीके से जागीरदारी सिस्टम से मिला था, जो कि इन तीनों को मुगल नोबल्स थे पहले, और ये मुगल रूलर से ही एक तरीके से इनको ये अलॉट हुआ था प्रोविंसेस. Second, their method of tax collection differed. Rather than relying upon the officers of the state, all three regimes contracted with revenue farmers for the collection of the revenue. अब ये तीनों में एक और क्लोज कनेक्शन था कि ये लोग मेथड ऑफ टैक्स कलेक्शन अलग-अलग थे, बट मेनली उनको फेथ नहीं था स्टेट के ऑफिसर्स पे, जो स्टेट के ऑफिसर्स पहले टैक्स कलेक्शन करते थे, उन पे तीनों प्रोविंसेस के रूलर्स को फेथ नहीं था, एंड दे डायरेक्टली कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड विद रेवेन्यू फार्मर्स. उन्होंने रेवेन्यू फार्मर से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करके और ये रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन का काम उन रेवेन्यू फार्मर्स को दे दिया था. तो ये भी एक तरीके से तीनों में कॉमन फीचर था. The practice of ijardari, thoroughly disapproved by the Mughals, spread all over India in the 18th century. Means Mughals के द्वारा ये जो इजारदारी थी, इजारदारी हमने पहले भी पढ़ा कि ways of revenue collection, that is the revenue farmers, they were called as ijardars. They agreed to pay the tax to the fixed amount of money to the state, and this was totally disapproved by the Mughals, and this only spread all over India in 18th century. Their impact on the countryside differed considerably. The third common feature in this the third common feature in this is so this was the second. First was that they were all belonged, means their jagirdaris were given from the Mughals, as they were given these jagirdaris from the Mughals itself. They were appointed by the Mughal rulers only. Second, the tax collection, that is the revenue farmers were given the authority for the tax collection, for which Mughal rulers were totally uh, not in favor of this. And the third common feature of all these regional states was that their emerging relationship between rich bankers and the merchants. So this was increasing the relationship between the merchants, rich bankers and the merchant was increasing, and the people lent money to the revenue farmers, received land as security, and collect taxes from these lands through their own agents. अब यहाँ पर क्या होता था, लोग अपना money revenue farmers को देते थे, and in that they received the lands as security, and then they used to collect the taxes from these lands through their own agents. अपने खुद के agents थे उनके, जिससे वो ये टैक्स कलेक्ट करते थे. Throughout India, the richest merchants and bankers were gaining a stake in the new political order. और पूरे भारत में richest merchants और bankers ये ही मीन्स एक तरीके से पावर गेन कर रहे थे, gaining a stake, gaining a high position in the political order. Gaining stake means gaining high position in the political order. Who was gaining high position? The richest merchants and bankers. They were having more importance at that time. So I end here only today. That's all. In our next class, with the video uploading, hope tomorrow only I will continue with this. I will send you the video and all. You can check it, and we'll continue from the Watan Jagirs and Rajput. Till then, read till here, and if any doubt, you can ask me and clarify your doubt. Thank you.